What's up, YouTube? We have a very interesting season pass coming up, of course, with Agamotto and Eson in the first Spotlight cache. And I was thinking about it. I'm very interested to play both of those cards. I love Ramp, and I love kind of the toolbox cards like Agamotto. But in the meantime, I wanted to build a deck that had ways of countering both of those cards. And I've seen this kind of concept around a little bit with Gorgon, but I just wanted to throw some cards together and see how it goes. And then hopefully it will get even better when those cards release later today. So the basic idea of the deck is to go over the top at the end of the game with Darkhawk or Ronin and a Mystique. And then I heard when I was listening to the latest Snapchat, Alex Kocha was talking about Moonstone in those Gorgon decks as a way to beef up your Gorgon restriction, and also at the end of the game with Mystique, doubling up whatever you copy with Darkhawk or Ronin. I had Baron Mordo in this deck when I was testing it, but it didn't seem to be very impactful. Maybe I could bring it back, but in the meantime, I put Moonstone in to try that out. So we'll try that in this next set of games. But let's go over and give a little card-by-card description of what's going on here. So I've been playing Spider-Ham in a lot of my decks. It's starting to become a card that I just enjoy having. In this deck, I wanted a couple 1-drops, stuff that I could move over with Grandmaster, but normally you're not going to Grandmaster a Spider-Ham. However, it should have synergy with Gorgon. The pig that you're turning their card into is a created card, so that's a nice little synergy. Plus, Spider-Ham just has the added benefit of disrupting strategies and can be a big problem for your opponent depending on what it hits. Iceman, similar idea to Spider-Ham. It's a card that could be a little frustrating because you don't know what it's affecting, but especially combined with Grandmaster in this deck, I think it can really help strand cards in their hand, which is great, obviously, for Ronin at the end of the game. Korg, Darkhawk, it's got to be in this deck. Grandmaster synergy as well. Master Mold is a Ronin enabler, and with Gorgon, you're putting 2-3 power sentinels in their hand, which is extremely annoying for the opponent. Tough to play out, just clog up their hand, and then especially if you Master Mold into Grandmaster, you're adding 4 sentinels if they have hand space, and pretty soon they won't have hand space because of what you're doing to them. Just nasty, not fun to deal with. And if this deck actually becomes strong, which I don't think it will become super strong, but especially with this first week, it can be a powerful player, I think. Gorgon is the reason for the deck. The real synergies here, as I said, are Master Mold and Spider-Ham, and of course Black Widow, which will be coming up soon. Grandmaster, all of the 1-drops can be targeted with Grandmaster. Typically, like I said, Spider-Ham you're not looking to do unless they play out the pig early. But because of Grandmaster, your early turns, you're going to want to spend playing your cards to the side lanes so that you have targets. So don't just willy-nilly play a Korg in the middle. You want to be able to have the option to Grandmaster them on turn 2 or later in the game. Mystique. You could Mystique a Gorgon if you're feeling spicy, but normally Mystique is going to be a turn 6 play to copy your Darkhawk or Ronin, depending on what's going on. Black Widow. I feel like this card doesn't need to be in this deck. It can deny them a draw. With Gorgon, it's a 1-cost -1 card that sucks for them to have to play out. I don't know. I think it needs a little more testing. It's definitely not as strong now with the Activate. It's kind of a dead card on turn 6, other than just being a 3/3 you can play out with Mystique. But yeah, gonna keep working with it and see what comes of it. Rock Slide, similar to Korg, you're just pumping rocks in the deck for Darkhawk. Thought about adding in Maximus, but it just has a weird anti-synergy with Darkhawk. I mean, yes, if you're just going the Ronin path, Maximus is great, but for now I just went Korg, Rock Slide, and then hope that the Master Mold and possibly Black Widow will help on the other side. Moonstone, like I said, this was an idea I heard Alex Kocha talk about. I think it could be cool. I'm going to test it out. It has the synergy with Gorgon and then Mystique at the end of the game, copying whatever you did with Darkhawk or Ronin. Maybe Iron Man is worth thinking about in this deck in a future revision. We'll see. And then the two top end cards of the deck that you're going to want to play on turn 5 when possible is your Darkhawk, which your rocks are going to pump up, and then your Ronin, which Master Mold is going to pump up, and Black Widow. So that is the deck. Going to go ahead and get into some gameplay, show you what's going on, and I think this can be a really fun counterplay into the early Agamotto decks that are going to be unrefined and Eson decks, because who doesn't want Eson to throw a Sentinel onto the board on turn 5 or turn 6? But let's get into it. I think I'm going to prioritize Iceman here, and I'm going to go left lane just in case we get a Grandmaster next turn. I'll just try to get the Gorgon online. Okay, so now we can Grandmaster the Iceman over, Spider Ham, get our White Hot Room activation. That's a big hit on Super Scroll. I think I'd like to just get Rock Slide down. Try for the Danger Room play. It's stuck. Okay, so now we make sure we play Black Widow first, and then Darkhawk, in case we draw Mystique. No Mystique, but we do have enough energy to play out Ronin and Moonstone. Moonstone's not doing a whole lot, but we can still activate Widow's Bite. Play out Ronin. Moonstone here. Assume they have some way of filling here. Dr. Doom or Shanna or something. Oh, Spectrum. Well, that's a tough look. They didn't fill any lanes for Dazzler. Hopefully we draw a 1-drop. Nope. Wiccan deck. We'll keep Korg available to Grandmaster. As much as I'd love to send 4 rocks in with Bar Sinister. Probably not the best use of Bar Sinister. Black Widow would be hilarious on Bar Sinister. Yeah, it's just too much fun. I think we'll play Moonstone over here. I'm just going to do one Black Widow for now. They're going to have a lot of energy. Now the question is Ronin or Darkhawk? Activate one Widow. That Dark Dimension really hurts. The Mystique Moonstone play would have been so much fun. This is a loss, but that's okay. Actually, as long as Bruce doesn't go off, but even then I think we take it. Would rather Korg here. Spider-Ham can be stronger later in the game when they've held on to some critical pieces to their deck that can then get hammed. Plus we can Grandmaster Korg next turn if we need to. I think I'd rather play Master Mold. We may get that shield if they don't draw Sam here. I will snap. Now I don't mind giving them Spider-Ham. Don't mind giving them Master Mold as well. Ongoing deck for sure. And they got denied a draw. I think we'll just pump with some rocks probably. With no Mystique or Gorgon in hand. Wonder if Misery is worth it in this deck. Very unfortunate we didn't draw Mystique or Ronin. Really not representing a ton of power here on the right, but I think we'll give it a shot. Spectrum. It's a good win. What do we want to start cloning? The Iceman's more annoying. Let's just go off. Yeah, I know, it's a lot. We're definitely going to take negative zone. I think Darkhawk might just be big enough over there next turn. So definitely wasted the rogue a little bit. At the very least, it's net neutral there on Korg. So far, I'm liking the Misery. The Citadel's looking good late in the game. Set up for Misery, hopefully, in a couple turns. Grandmaster's turned off for the rest of this game, more or less, till the last turn. Well, that's not what we wanted. Still possible to win, thanks to the Citadel. You're not supposed to be able to get rid of those. I would love to be misering this turn if I could have. Hey, Collector. Do they ever just play Collector out here? I think we just need to get stats on the board. Maybe they played the pig? Nah, double pig. If we had been able to misery, we would have stopped the dock and shard from going into their hand in the first place. So it's a discard deck. They're going to be discarding. Ronin's not going to be any good at the end of the game. Gonna have to hope Darkhawk is. So far I've been liking the Misery. The Moonstone would have been better if I could ever play it and Mystique on the last turn together. Maybe there's a place for Moonstone taking out Iceman or Spider-Ham. Okay, so they still only have one dock and shard. Oh no. Doom 2099. Actually, this is Ereshkigal. Just have to hope they didn't get the Darkhawk. Okay, they got our Spider-Ham as one of the cards. Totally fine. TVA. Unfortunate. They just activate Lasher, which means I have no chance of winning that lane. So they didn't get Darkhawk, but we're not going to have a chance to play it anyway. What happened? All right. I wonder if they have a way to turn off TVA. I mean, Legion. Okay, so I think just Darkhawk middle. They Shang-Chi over here or something. They can't Alioth. Reasonable odds. What a draw on Darkhawk. 2 cards left in deck. There's the Shang. Okay. Yeah, I'm liking it. Was a top 2,000 player. Yeah, so after a couple games, you saw we made the change, took out Moonstone, put in Misery, and it's been very good. I like the deck even better with Misery, and I'm going to try this version whenever Eson and Agamotto release. So yeah, check it out. Try out Misery in this spot. Try out the deck overall. It's been impressive and fun to play and a little off kilter, so I think you'll enjoy it. Give a subscribe if you haven't already for more decks like this, and comment below. I interact with every comment and be happy to talk to you about Marble Snap or just anything you'd like. Later.